All right, what's the word, Coach?
All right. We are live for the first ever recorded midweek youth group lesson. Okay. So behave yourselves, children. We have an orange screen here. Okay. So let's talk about life. So one thing, by the way, we're starting a new series tonight, if you didn't know, from the orange screen. I don't know if that was clear. One thing that makes life hard is change. Okay. Constantly we're going through change from the day we're born until the day we die. Change. Okay. It's constant change. What are some changes that we might go through in life?
The form of your body.
Form of your body, yeah. And I'm repeating so the mic can pick it up.
Elementary school, middle school, high school, college.
Elementary school, middle school, high school, college. Moving. Trust me, I know that one. I've moved so much in my life. Your age. Growing in general. Exactly. Relationships, David? What's interesting to you? Absolutely. So you guys get the gist. Okay. So one thing that changes a lot in our lives is the change of our direction. Okay. So we have a certain direction we're facing and it changes. So we're heading down one path and we turn to another. So some of you may be going down a different path and choose to another. Some of you may choose jazz band and then choose, I'm going to change direction and not do jazz band actually. That's Rosaline, right? What are some directions that have changed in your life that you feel? And maybe you haven't been through too many yet, but maybe you have.
I would say my feel of soccer. I switched from practicing soccer to doing Muay Thai.
Soccer and Muay Thai. My Thai? Muay Thai? Muay. Evie. Yes, what are some directions that have changed in your life you feel? Like you're going down one path and then you change direction. Spanish to French. Okay, you said, I don't want to learn Spanish, I want to learn French. Let me change my direction. Okay. Let me put it this way. The two previous ministers that were here, along with myself, studied one of three engineering, education, or data analytics, and all three of us changed direction to go into ministry, right? That's a big change, right? We lost Jeff, I know, so sad. Okay. So when it comes to physical direction, I like to turn to my friend, the GPS. When I'm going somewhere, I like to turn to my friend, the GPS. I don't know how people ever survived without a GPS. Let me tell you, if I was your youth minister in the 70s or 80s, we wouldn't go anywhere. God bless you, Steve Autry, for taking your group places without GPS.
It's called
The mind.
It's called the maps.
The maps. See, I just wouldn't want to read a map. I want GPS. Okay. So, for me to use GPS, what is something that the GPS needs to know before it can tell me where to go? What does it need to know about me?
Your name.
No, not my name.
Your location?
My location. Where am I? Okay. Here's a great example. A couple weeks ago, we did Blue Canoe. Okay. Sydney obviously was our Blue Canoe. And while you guys went off to do your scavenger hunt, I said, I'm going to go hang out with Sydney so she's not alone, because she was alone. So I said, Sydney, where are you? And she sent me these pictures. One is of her surroundings, and one was where she was on the GPS. Okay? So when I was looking at this, I had to look at this and look at my GPS and notice where my blue circle was, which was over here in the left big space area, right? And I had to say, okay, in order to get to Sydney, I didn't know where I am. I could not get to Sydney if I did not know where I was. I could not get to her. I needed direction, but I needed to know where I was first. Yes? You know what, Evelyn? This is part of the lesson, so just go with it, okay? But I had to know first where I was, which I was over here. If the GPS didn't know where I was, I would not have been able to get to Sydney, okay? And the same is true in life. If you don't know where you are or your direction, you won't be able to get to where you're going, okay? Many people are looking for a life change. They're looking for something somewhere, and they don't know where to find it. So for the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about change, okay? We're going to be looking at some life-changing words that Jesus spoke, and we're going to deep dive those and study those and figure out what they mean for us. So you may come get your handouts. We have handouts again. Woohoo! And a clipboard and a piece of paper. That's weird. Okay, let's resume. So as you can see, the verse at the top of your paper is John 14:6. Can someone read that for us? Rosaline, I'm going to come. No, not you. Not you. Jaden, I'm going to lean in so the mic can hear you. Speak
I'm
loudly.
the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
All right. Very popular, well-known verse. This is going to be our theme verse for this whole series. It's going to stick at the top of that handout every week. Okay? So based on this verse alone, we can gather that Jesus came to bring change in us, especially our direction in life. There's your first two blanks. What do I mean by Jesus came to bring change in us, especially our direction in life? Think about it. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, which implies that maybe people thought there were different ways, and he says, actually, no, I'm the way, so you need to do this. And he says, you believed in other truths, but I'm the truth, so here's the truth. You believed in this other life, this other lifestyle, but I'm the life, so I want you to change about this, okay? So from this, I could just gather that he wants us to change and change our direction, okay? It's kind of the whole premise of the series. In John 14:6, Jesus had just told his disciples that he was going to his Father's house so that they can be with him there. So here it is right here. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going. Okay? So then in verse 5, one of Jesus' disciples, Thomas, he says, Lord, we don't know where you are going, so how can we know the way? Okay. Right here, Thomas wanted a map. I don't know where I'm going. Where are you going? How do we get there? Thomas wanted a map. This is on, right? Okay, good. Just making sure. More related to today, Thomas wanted a GPS. He wanted to know where they were going and how to get there. Have you guys ever been going somewhere that you've never been? If someone sends you an address for it, you don't know how to get there, you plug it in GPS. Like, have you guys ever used GPS? Like, we don't have any drivers. You're a driver. You're a brand new driver. No, you don't. Evelyn just got her license. You use GPS. So, okay. So you may plug it in because you don't know how to get there. So Thomas is saying, can you, first of all, give me the coordinates where we're going, but like also, how do we get there? Okay. And Jesus is saying, well, obviously you're trying to get to the Father. He said, I'm going to the Father, prepare a place for you. We're going to the Father. That's the destination. How do you get there? Jesus is saying, if I'm the way to get there. Okay. But what does it mean that Jesus is saying, I'm the way? So we have 3 points to discuss. Okay. What does it mean that Jesus is the way? It means that there's only one road that leads to salvation. One road that leads to salvation. In the early church days, Christianity was referred to as the way. You can find that in Acts 2 and Acts 19. Okay, we're not reading those. I just wanted to reference those. So if you want to go see that they mention the way, and they actually capitalized the W, at least in my NLT version on my phone. So the question is, this Jewish man from Nazareth says, I am the way. That's a big claim. Why should I believe that this man is the way? Why do you guys think we should believe Jesus when he says he's the way?
Well, first off, you should trust your decision. Even if you have trust issues. I mean, and plus, Jesus is a handsome-looking guy. Why are you going to lie to you anyway?
Jesus is a handsome-looking guy.
Exactly.
I think the book of Isaiah would say otherwise. Why should I believe Jesus is the way? What did he do? What did he say? Why should I believe anything he says? But why? Why should I believe that?
Because he made you.
He made me? That's a good one. What else? Ali? Died for us? But what did he do after he died?
Oh, he rose.
He rose back to life. David? Defied death. Okay. He rose from the grave. He performed miracles. He never sinned. He was perfect. Okay. He forgave sins. That was a big deal. Rose from the dead. Okay. Let's look at 1 Timothy. Someone read that verse for me. Rosaline, I'm going to come over here. Speak loudly.
For there is one God and one mediator between God and mankind, the man Christ Jesus, who gave himself as a ransom for all people. This has now been witnessed to all the proper time.
All right. Thanks for that. So, one mediator. Have you guys ever heard the phrase, there are many ways to heaven? You guys ever heard that? You have? Okay. You have or have not? No. People have said there are many ways to heaven. Of course, these people would not be Christians because Christians believe that Jesus is the only way to heaven. Why can that not be true? Why can't that be true? Why aren't there many ways to heaven? Why is Jesus the only way? People say there are many ways to heaven. Why can't that be true?
I mean, it states it in the Bible clearly.
Right.
Second off, if people knew what they were actually talking about, they would know why.
All right, I like it. Rosaline?
Somewhere it say that Jesus brings heaven, or he helps us get into heaven. So we don't believe in Jesus. How's that we get into heaven?
Right. Well, he says he's the way, right? He's the way. Okay. Anything else? Why can't that be true? I'll tell you why. The requirement for heaven is perfection. That's the standard. To be eternally in the presence of a perfect and holy God, that is the standard. What's the problem with that standard of perfection? Gobi? We're not perfect. No one, except one. Okay, we're not perfect. So, yes, they are perfect. So fulfilling the law perfectly might get you into heaven if you did it perfectly. But can we fulfill the law perfectly? Can we obey all of God's commands perfectly?
To be honest, if you try hard enough.
No. No one. Absolutely not. Not a single soul. Okay? Who fulfills the law? Who said he fulfills the law? Huh? Who fulfills the law? Who said I came to fulfill the law? Jesus. Whose blood covers us to make us righteous in God's eyes? Jesus. Yes. Okay. This old idea of good deeds outweighing your bad to get in heaven is kind of ridiculous. Okay. Committing one sin makes you guilty of them all. Committing one sin breaks the law. It doesn't matter which sin it is, the sin breaks the law. Okay. So even if you do more good than bad, you still sinned, which is the separation mechanism between us and God, as Isaiah tells us, our sins and iniquities have separated us and God. Okay, so it's not a matter of doing more good than bad, but getting rid of this separation in general, which is why we need to realize that Jesus is plan A, and there is no plan B. Jesus is plan A. The one who destroys sin, overcomes the power of sin, is plan A. He's the only one who can. There's no other way. Therefore, how could there be a plan B? Did you notice that Jesus said, I am the way? He didn't say, I'm a way. That's why there's no multiple paths to heaven. He said, I'm the way. There is no other way. Girls, it'd be like if you said, this Taylor Swift song is the best Taylor Swift song, opposed to one of the best. Rosaline, what's the best Taylor Swift song? Look What You Made Me Do. Would someone disagree with that? Okay, a disagreement. That's the issue, right? You think, would you say it's one of the best? Oh, you're right. You're not a Taylor Swift fan. Evie, you're a Taylor Swift fan.
I don't have one because I'm a real Swiftie.
You don't have one because you're a real Swiftie.
Actually, I don't like
Okay.
AC/DC.
The issue is, you could say this is the best Taylor Swift song. That's more of an opinion. Jesus is saying, I'm the way. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Okay, there is no plan B. And many think that they'll receive salvation because of their hard work or by being a better person, or maybe for you guys, it's being nicer to your parents. Some people think there are many different ways of salvation. Okay, others think that they've gone too far or they've messed up too much, and there is no salvation for them. They can't be forgiven by God. Yes.
Jeffrey Dahmer did baptize himself in jail.
Baptized himself. Interesting.
He was baptized by actually the Church of Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he was
Yes.
baptized.
Would you say there's forgiveness for Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Even though what he did was terrible, there's still forgiveness.
There's still forgiveness. That's the thing. There is always a way to find salvation. And it is only through Jesus. Plan A. There is no plan B. It is only through Jesus. In Matthew 7, Jesus describes the narrow gate and how the highway to hell is broad, which means it's just wide. It's easier to walk in. It says many are going to choose that way, but the gateway to life is narrow, and the road is difficult, and few find it. And I want you guys to be some of the few that find it. Okay? Who in here likes walking through very large crowds? Have you like walking through large crowds? No? Okay, I don't see any hands. No one likes... You know what would make walking through large crowds better? Just a little bit better. Making the road a little more wide, more broad. But that makes it easier, right? So back when I was in college at Oklahoma State, I went to some football games. And in the front of the stadium, there's gates with security guards and people scanning tickets. Okay? It's a line. You have to wait in line to get into the football games. What would happen if they got rid of those gates, rid of the security guards, and they just made half the stadium a front door and people just could just pile in? What would happen? Bad things. Chaos. Right? Chaos. I could just imagine, you know who would get in? People who haven't bought a ticket. They would just you could just sneak right in. You don't have to buy a ticket. Oh, they can't catch everyone, right? I could just sneak in, walk in with the crowd because half the stadium is a wide open door. It's too easy. Okay, weed them out. They were hectic, but the football games were fun. Okay, and finally, because Jesus is the way, not a way, but the way, it leads us to understand that our mission is to show the lost the way. If we know the way, and some people don't, that means they're lost. That means we have to show them the way.
What are the ramifications of that?
Ramifications?
Yeah.
Well, you may walk in through the broad gate, the highway to hell. That's our mission, is to show. Actually, that's what I was going to say next. Is that it's the church's mission to show people the way and tell people the good news of Jesus. We're just leaving people in the dirt if we don't, not giving them a chance. That's why Jesus said, "Go make disciples of all nations." Yes, Kobe.
If you haven't got baptized, but you still accept Jesus, could you still be able to?
If you accept Jesus, you should get baptized. We have this conversation all the time. We don't say baptism is the thing that saves you, but it's out of obedience to the one who does save you. You could reference the criminal on the cross, the thief on the cross, who Jesus said, "You'll be with me today in paradise." But I think if you have the chance to be baptized and you want to follow Jesus, you should be baptized. I have a story for you later. Remind me to tell you that story. I'm going to tell her the story from Altine 2 years ago that Eric told. It's a good story. Rosalind, come here. Evie, come here. Come here. Not Evelyn, Evie. Okay. Don't step on the cord. All right. Come here, Evie. Close your eyes. Put your hands over your eyes. I'll spin around a few times. Spin, 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 spin. Spin a couple times. Okay. Get a little dizzy.
No,
And stop. Okay. Oh, don't look. So Rosaline knows the way. You don't know the way. You're lost. Evie, if I said to point to Arabella because she's the way, where do you think you're going? She's the one with the purple hair. Don't look. Just point. That's close, yeah. That's pretty close. You don't know the way specifically. You don't know directly the way. But Rosaline, you know where Arabella is. Why don't you show Evie where Arabella is? Why don't you help her open her eyes and show her where Arabella is? There you go. All right. Thank you, ladies. If you had a friend, if you guys were going somewhere and you knew the way, and your friend said, "I don't know how to get there," what are you going to do? You're going to help them. You're going to tell them how to get there. You're going to give them the GPS coordinates. Or you're going to show them the right direction. You're going to help them get there. Okay. When someone's lost, it simply means they haven't experience the love and forgiveness of Jesus, right? They don't know Jesus. Who did Jesus sit with a lot? Rosaline? Yeah. So they would be people described as sinners, right? The thing about these sinners, whether they were tax collectors or prostitutes or whoever, they were looked down on by the religious elites and saying, there's no hope for you. There's no way for you. Okay, you're done for. You're not forgiven. You're not loved. And Jesus sat with them and showed them love and showed them forgiveness because they were lost, because Jesus came to save the lost. Jaden?
Basically, how I see it is, instead of, Jesus sat with sinners, Jesus asked or sat with the people asking for forgiveness instead of being
Right.
the way they are, asking for a path, the light.
Yeah.
Way.
Asking for a way. Is there hope for me? Is there a direction that I can go for hope? Yes. His name is Jesus, and he's the way. Someone could be lost and not know it. Someone might think that they're not lost when they really are, and that could be a sense of pride. And someone might know that they're lost and not care about what you have to say or share with them. And my recommendation is to love them. Show them the love of Christ. So here's your big idea. Since Jesus is the only way to salvation, our mission is to show the lost the way. It's very similar to bullet point number 3. Jesus is the only way to salvation. Our mission is to show the lost the way. Some people's idea of saving the lost is throwing condemnation and judgment and hate to people. Trying to, you need to obey God's law and you need to go to church and this and that, right? That's their method of saving the lost. But as you guys know, I always say, if you so badly want people to change, or more importantly, to know God, then you will show them the transformative love of Christ. That's what changes people. You're not going to change people by throwing the law in their face. You're going to change them by showing them the love of Christ. For those who are lost and don't know the way, help change their direction. The same way that Rosaline helped Evie. Although Evie was pretty close. She got the gist. But maybe the direction changes, right? Be a Rosaline in this case. Show Evie the way. Sorry, Evie, you don't know the way. For those who are lost, for those who don't know Jesus, for those who are lost, show them the way. Help them change their direction by showing them the love and forgiveness and the hope that Christ brings. Show them a way. Not a way, show them the way.